I love the new ATF guy. How about you?
Great? Yeah, he's fun.
He's
fun.
Great.
Yeah. I have particularly liked him with posing for a selfie in front of the destruction at Waco after 91 people were killed there. That was really cool for him to stand in front of that wreckage and take a little selfie. Yeah. He was proud of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it was a lantern.
Yeah, right. That they knocked
Mrs.
over.
McCleary's cow kicked over a lantern, and that's how they all died. It had nothing to do with Janet Reno.
Just horrific.
But I think it's great to see the backlash from the left on that.
Oh, they're upset.
Oh, they've got to be upset. I mean, he's standing there with, I know how they respond when somebody kills a lion.
Right.
You know what I mean? They kill a lion and everybody goes crazy.
It was like a trophy pose. It really was. Despicable.
Okay, so let me play some of the audio. Let me just play Cruz with Chipman. Does he plan on banning AR-15s? Listen to this.
The AR-15 is one of, if not the most popular rifle in America. It's not a machine gun. It's a rifle. Your public position is that you want to ban AR-15s. Is that correct?
Senator, thank you for the question, and thank you for our visit yesterday and offering me a Dr. Pepper. It made me reminisce about my time in Central Texas. But now to your question. With respect to the AR-15, I support a ban as has been presented in a Senate bill and supported by the president. The AR-15 is a gun I was issued on ATF's SWAT team, and it's a particularly lethal weapon. And regulating it as other particularly lethal weapons.
Like a Smith & Wesson 380.
That's not particularly lethal. That's only
ATF
lethal.
director, if I'm confirmed, I would simply enforce the laws on the books. And now,
I'm just going to follow the laws.
Ban on those guns.
All right. Here's how he. Well, first of all, cut 7, please. He can't seem to identify or define an assault weapon. Listen to this.
I got 35 seconds left. Define it for me, would you please, sir? What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons is
what is your
dozens of pages.
Of
There's no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any. You're going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
But I would be enforcing the definition that members of Congress
you're going to be issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF.
Give me your definition.
Uses. One definition that ATF currently.
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
Listen, forget about this. Okay, so he doesn't answer it. Now listen to this. Here's when he finally defines an assault weapon.
There are not criminal consequences. I want to turn to a second matter now, Mr. Chipman. You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
Oh. So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write legislation. Can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a government?
Listen to this.
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only process by which ATF is weighed in is that I know there's a demand letter 3 program, which requires multiple reports, multiple sale reports on the southwestern border.
Listen.
And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
Okay, stop. That would also include every handgun that is semi-automatic, because it's a detachable magazine. It feeds into the gun, all right?
You know much more about guns than I do, but he said rifle, right? Would a handgun be a rifle?
If you're defining it based on its feeding from a magazine underneath, he did say rifle. But that would include then, if you just want to look just at rifles, that would include the gun we used in World War I. World War One.
Well, I had a really rough boating accident recently where my boat flipped over. I had all my guns, and they all went to the bottom of a very deep lake, and I think into a cave or something. Like when you looked at the bottom of the lake, could not find trace of them. But at one point, I did have a gun that was sort of like on the AR-15 sort of platform that was technically a handgun. So would that be concluded in this ban?
Yes,
I think it would.
Yes,
right?
it would.
Yeah.
And I feel for you because I had my guns because I was doing some investigation in a cave too. I was over in Wuhan just a few months ago, and I accidentally dropped all of my guns.
Oh my gosh!
And they just kept. I just heard them going.
Oh my gosh! It's probably very deep. Oh my God! All the
My
way down
guns,
Wow.
Guns. And then I heard.
The
And all the bats started coming, and I was like, I got to get out of here. So all my guns are in China.
You were able to transport your guns to the Communist Republic of China. Wow.
Wasn't easy. Wasn't easy.
That's impressive.
It wasn't
That's
easy.
impressive.
I'm not sure why you'd
thank
ask
you.
a question like that. Sounds like a bad question.
It does.
It does seem like a bad question that only an
does.
enemy of the state would ask.
Exactly right. Only someone who has guns, perhaps in a safe.
No. I had
You had guns, though. At one
years
point, I remember-
ago, I had a boating accident on a lake
You had a
or an
boating
ocean.
accident.
Yeah, I can't
Or an
remember.
Two cave accidents
I just know
and
it
a
was
boating accident.
Yeah. I know it was a deep body of water, and I do so much fishing, and I always take my guns with me. So I don't remember what body of water I was on. I just remember losing the guns over the edge of the boat.
Did you call somebody?
I didn't, because I lost my phone that same time. I had to get a new
gosh.
one.
That's terrible.
And
Yeah.
you figured they're down at the bottom of the lake,
Yeah.
so nobody's going to get
Nobody's
them.
going to get them. No reason
And
to
it might have
report
not
it.
been a lake. It might have been the
Might
ocean.
have been the ocean.
Might have been the ocean.
Yeah, so they could have been swallowed by a whale. I don't know.
You can't remember if you were inland or on the coast.
I can't.
You can't.
I can't
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
No.
Right.
It's an interesting thing to forget.
I lost it in a boating accident.
As you've mentioned a few times, I'll bet you if you replace the metal portion of an AR-15 with the wood paneling that like is on a hunting rifle, they wouldn't have any problem with these.
No,
weapons.
the average person wouldn't. The average person wouldn't. However, what he just defined is I don't remember, somebody in the audience will know, but it is a gun that we used in World War I think we used it in World War II, and it feeds from below, and it's a wood paneled. It's like it's like a Plymouth Woody. It's got the wood paneling on the sides,
and it's semi-automatic.
yeah,
because
it feeds from the bottom.
It seems like whatever definition they come up with
I'm
is
pretty sure that's semi-automatic. Now that you're saying that, maybe you do have to cock it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
The bottom line is they're going to be banning a lot of guns that, number one, we won't like. Number two, they can't actually ban because it's unconstitutional.
So notice what he said here, and this is the most important thing. This is Woodrow Wilson, and by the way, I believe there is a coming announcement of a president that is going to do more damage to the United States of America than Woodrow Wilson. I think that announcement is coming from this program soon. But this is what Woodrow Wilson did. Did you notice how he answered the question? I don't define it. The agency defines it. I go with what the agency defines. It's not, that senator was wrong. It's not what the Senate says. The Senate will put in charge the agency of the ATF, and the ATF will define everything. That's the way this all works. So there's no one ever to really pin on. He doesn't have to answer that question because really it's in the agency, and the agency does that.
Because technically, right, he can't write a bill, right? The
No.
ATF guy cannot say, okay, this is what I think it is, which is what it's the technicality he's holding out on there.
Correct. And it is like Obamacare. Remember when we went through Obamacare, how many times it said will be left up to the secretary's discretion?
Yeah.
That's the way all of this is done. There is another... This is an out in the open shadow government. It is not one that is secretive. It's called the cabinet.
Right. So he says, I can't answer this because Congress has to define it. And then Congress says the way we define it is how the ATF says it should be defined.
Right.
And so then eventually he winds up being a big part of that decision-making process anyway,
and
without having to deal with it before it gets confirmed.
Correct. And the Senate doesn't have to deal with it. Nobody has to deal with it. There's never anybody responsible for these things. And that is the thing that everyone should be concentrating on. What is it they're doing at the cabinet level? That's the other hand.